Under the club. The Greeks have got a story about a guy named Icarus and one named Daedalus. And the story is that one began to get wings and he started flying and he got closer to the sun and the wax on his wings melted and he fell to the ground and died. Well, that's what happens when you get in the White House and you're a general. You're in the rarefied and you're getting close to the sun, and it's easy to get your feathers singed. Well, that happened to Michael Flynn. He's a good guy. He's served our country well, director of Defense Intelligence. He knows what goes on. Apparently, his communications were being hacked, and he knew about it, but he got crosswise by trying to do a little diplomacy on the side with the Russians. And so he's out, and they're looking for a new national security advisor, and there's a general who seems to, an admiral who seems to be the front runner. Here's Wendy.
Yeah, well, there is some good news. The president, his nominee for Secretary of the Treasury has finally been confirmed, and stocks hit new highs again in the Trump rally on Wall Street. Charlene Aaron has the story.
Retired Lieutenant General Joseph Kellogg has been named as President Trump's acting national security advisor after the resignation of Michael Flynn. Flynn says in his resignation letter late Monday that he gave, quote, incomplete information about discussions he had with the Russian ambassador to the U.S. Unfortunately, because of the fast pace of events, I inadvertently briefed the vice president-elect and others with incomplete information regarding my phone calls with the Russian ambassador. I have sincerely apologized to the president and the vice president, and they have accepted my apology. Flynn had originally said there were no discussions of the sanctions slapped on Russia by the Obama administration for election hacking. The current favorite to replace Flynn is retired Navy Vice Admiral Robert Harward, along with possibly former CIA Director David Petraeus. The president was also talking about the economy Monday, the NAFTA trade agreement with Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau. Making fair international trade deals was one of the president's major campaign themes.
We have a very outstanding trade relationship with Canada. We'll be tweaking it. We'll be doing certain things that are going to benefit both of our countries. We're going to work with Mexico. We're going to make it a fair deal for both parties.
And the economy was also an issue as the Senate continues to confirm Trump's cabinet choices at a historically slow pace. Monday night, the Senate finally confirmed his Treasury Secretary nominee, Steve Mnuchin, a former executive at Goldman Sachs, by a vote of 53 to 47, with only one Democrat, West Virginia's Joe Manchin, voting for him. He was then sworn in. Meanwhile, the Trump rally on Wall Street continues, with all the major stock indexes once again hitting record highs, and the Standard & Poor's 500 going over $20 trillion in value. Many analysts believe investors are buying because they like Trump's plans for cutting business and personal taxes and getting rid of heavy government regulations. They believe that's a recipe for a healthier economy and stronger business profits. And that would mean higher stock prices in the future as well. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Well, you talk about reaching the heights, they're dizzying heights. Apple. Can you imagine a fruit company named Apple is now worth $700 billion. It's the highest valued stock in Wall Street. And here they are. Google is number 2. Microsoft number 3, Berkshire Hathaway. Can you believe that? Almost $500 billion. Amazon, almost again up in the stratosphere, and then Facebook there at those numbers. And you look at those companies, and almost none of them were here, say, 15 years ago. They're not old-line manufacturing companies. They're all mostly high-tech companies. And the market has just gone nuts. But Apple, it was selling some time ago when it was in the doldrums before Steve Jobs came back. It was about $3 a share. And now look at it. And they've got so much cash, they don't know what to do with it all because of these wonderful products. They keep turning out all these iPads and all this new stuff they're selling. And they're selling millions and millions of them, and they're making a fortune. But that's where the growth driver is. Did you get any of that stock?
I don't own any of those, but should I own those?
Well, it's too late now.
Is it too late now?
Well, in my opinion, because I thought the same thing with Google when it hit $70. I said, man, this is crazy, and now they're up to $400 or $500 a share, and it's just insane. But these companies are so innovative and they're so creative, but it just seems like we've gone away from historic manufacturing. These are not manufacturing companies. You know, they've got a couple of the biggies in there, ExxonMobil, and I believe the bank is JP
What sector
Morgan.
do you favor right now?
I've
Energy?
always liked energy. I like gold. I like silver, and I like hard assets or something. But you can get your hands on them. I just haven't understood high tech. And you know, Warren Buffett said the same thing. I don't understand them. I don't buy them. So he buys railroads, and he buys Coca-Cola, and he buys shaving companies that people shave every day. Their beards are going to grow every single day.
That's true. That's something that's never going to go out of style right there.
He sold the razor company. He had Gillette. He sold that, but
I mean, beards might go out of style, but shaving will
never go out of style. That's right. So anyhow, Buffett figured they'd all be drinking Cokes, but he's, I think, out of Coca-Cola now. But that's what he bought, and he's a value investor after the old Dodd-Frank, method, not Dodd-Frank, but the Dodd-Graham, Graham-Dodd. I'll say it right in a minute. He was a disciple of Benjamin Graham, and he's been a value investor. He's brilliant, and so see Berkshire Hathaway. Now that's an insurance company now. He's got primarily insurance, but he's owns a railroad. He owns all this stuff. But it is remarkable where our economy has gone. But it shows that the market is on board with Trump. And by the way, while we're doing it, there's a comedian. The comedian, for some reason, was one of those guys in Minnesota. They like to elect wrestlers and comedians, and they put him in the Senate. So what does he do? He questions the intelligence of the president. Yeah, you should live so long to be that smart.